I'm Dave Wescott, CEO of Evergreen Brands, and today we are going to talk about an exciting subject, and it's find your brand voice or find your business voice. And I think this is one of the great things that you can really talk about and really focus on in your business. And I think that it's important because so many companies that I meet with, so many companies that I talk to, so many companies that I do work with, you know, they are in concrete or they are in snow removal or they're in landscaping. And when you ask, who are you? And they often say, well, I'm a landscape company. Oh, okay. And they say, well, what do you do? Well, I do landscaping and I mow lawns and I build retaining walls and I do snow removal, and okay, that's cool. And what separates you from your competition? And they come back and they say, well, we provide incredible customer experience. Oh, okay. We have integrity. Okay. We have honesty. Okay. We're available 24 hours a day during the snow. Okay. We've got the best equipment. Okay. Now, those are the things that every single company has. And I want you to take a minute and just pull up your own website. And when you pull up your own website, I want you to pull up 3 or 4 of your competitor websites. Who are the guys who do it the best? And what I notice is that whether it's landscaping or snow removal or concrete or roofing or any kind of construction industry driven service, or even banking, for example, like if I pull up the Wells Fargo website and I pull up the Chase Bank website, like they're pretty much the same. And so I was having this discussion with a group of guys, and we were sitting around the table. And I said, hey, listen, I'm going to look up your business, and then I'm going to look up all the businesses in the area that provide the exact same service. And then I want you to choose which one you would go to, or which one you would work with, or which one you think is the best. And so, you know, I type in whatever it is, Moe's Landscaping, or I type in Landscaping Monroe, or whatever it might be. And I type in Landscaping Monroe, and there's like 200 companies that come up. And there's so many companies that come up, like I'm like scrolling through, like which one do I pick? Like there's almost more companies that do landscaping in Monroe than people who live in Monroe, because Monroe's a tiny little town. And so, you know, you just take a stab and you pick one and you click on it and you see the reviews and it's like, oh, okay. And you look at the website and it's like, nope, not that one. Nope, not that one. Nope, not that one. Nope, not that one. Well, I'm looking for a property management company in Houston to take care of some rental property. And I'm from the Seattle area, so I'm many, many miles away. So I'm looking for a company that's going to deliver the best service so that I can, one, don't have to worry about the property. I don't have to think about the property. The property can be profitable, and I know that my investment is in good hands. So I'm going through this process, and there's, you know, Houston property managers, and I'm looking them all up, and I'm going through them, and then I say, property managers in Seabrook, Texas, and I'm looking them up, and you know, I choose a couple, and I choose the ones that have the highest star ratings. And so I choose one that has a 5-star review. It's just 5 stars. Now I'm a little leery of 5-star reviews all the way, because it's like nobody can have all 5-star reviews and be good. But I pull up this company and I find that they have 8 5-star reviews. So I read the reviews and they seem to be legit. And so I'm like, okay. I click onto the website, and the website's a little outdated. It's a little old school. So I kind of say, you know, I don't think I'm going to go with that one. So I go to a couple others, and the reviews aren't as good. There's some positives and some negatives, and this kind of thing. And I go back to this property manager that's got all this 8 5-star reviews, and I look at it, and they're kind of close to the area, and I look at the website again, and I'm thinking about it, and I say, okay, well, I'll just throw the submission in on the form. So I throw the submission in on the form. It's Saturday night. It's about 6:30 or 7 p.m. And all of a sudden, boom, I get a text message. Hey, what's up? This is Missy. I just saw you put in a form request on my website. Tell me a little bit about the properties. I'm like, whoa. That lady literally responded in seconds. And then we text message back and forth a couple of times, and boom, first thing Sunday morning, she's following up. And then Monday, she's following up. And then Tuesday, she's asking questions, she's putting together, she's telling me what she thinks and what she requires as a property manager. And she says, listen, I got to be honest with you that I don't work with people who want to cut corners. So if you want to cut corners on the management, like I'm just telling you up front, I'm not your person. 2, I want to make sure the tenants are taken care of, so I want to have a good tenant experience. And 3, if there's a repair or construction on them, I don't want to be micromanaged in, getting the work done, because I want to make sure the tenants are taken care of. And I was like, yes, you are like my lady, right? You are all about this experience. And if you watch or look at anything I do, it's like, I'm focused, I'm obsessed with this incredible customer experience. And so that's like really, really, really important to me. And so like this lady is speaking my language, right? And we're hitting it off, and we're, it's a good conversation. And she's like, yeah, I've been in, management for 30 years, and I started my own company 3 years ago. And, she's like, I've got 2 staff members, and, they bear some of this load. And she's telling me about her business. Okay. Cool. She's totally transparent. And I've got this little 8-plex apartment complex down there. And, she's like, well, I haven't done a lot of those in a long time. But, back in the day, I used to manage these big properties. And these are some of the expectations. And this is what I think. And we're just kind of going through the whole thing. And it's just like, yes, this is the person that I want to work with. Right? This is our brand is connecting. Now, I haven't seen any pricing yet. I haven't seen any proposal yet. I haven't seen anything yet. But what led me to look for this property manager? Well, I was dealing with a real estate agent, and I'm dealing with this real estate agent, and the real estate agent says, yeah, we do management. And I'm like, okay, cool. And, we close on a property on a Thursday night, and she's like, I'm going to have the management agreement over tonight. No management agreement. And then Friday comes along. No management, and then when we're setting up the utilities, when we make the purchase, we're including the new property manager on that. And they're like, whoa, why are you including me on the utilities? And it's just like all of these things that should be standard don't happen. And then Monday comes and we have a call with them, and there's still no management agreement. And then Tuesday, and there's still no management agreement. And what's happening right away? Like, the real estate agent had my business from the beginning. Like, no matter what, they had my business. That was locked in. I was already going to give it to them. I didn't want to search for another person in Texas. I didn't want to have to deal with another person in Texas. I didn't want to have to do anything more in Texas. But what happened when I didn't get that management agreement on day 1 when she said she was sending it over? I got nervous, and I lost a little bit of trust. My trust went from 100% to 90%. And then Friday comes, nothing. And then Saturday, and it's like, okay, now I need to start looking. And then what happens on Saturday? I start reaching out, and then I find somebody. I'm like, man, this is awesome. And so it's about that incredible experience for me, and I want someone who has that incredible experience. And then I look at the price. And she sends over her proposal, and she sends it over what it's going to cost and what she's going to charge me. And she says, hey, listen, I don't really want to work on percentages. I just want it to be a flat fee, and this is what I want. And I look at the fees, and I look at what she's charging, and I'm like, okay, this is reasonable. This is a fair price. And so I think there's three things that as you focus on your brand voice that are ever constant, that should never change in your business, that you have to deliver in your brand voice no matter what. And if you take anything from this series, if you take anything from this, I'm going to call it a call, but you can call it a podcast, whatever you want to call it. If you take anything from this, there's three things that are always constant in the success of a business, and there's three things that are constant in that brand voice, and one of them's got to be quality. So if you're taking notes, write it down. I'm actually going to write it down for myself. But one of them's got to be quality. You've got to be able to speak the language of quality. It's not just delivering quality, it's speaking the language of quality. It's in every movement of your business. It's in every movement of what you deliver and how you perform is quality. And what Missy showed me was quality. She spoke the language of quality. She said, I'm not going to cut corners. She said right up front, I don't want to work with owners who cut corners. This is what I think I can rent the property for. This is how long I think it's going to take to get it rented. And I'm not interested in working with you if you don't meet this requirement. Wow, right? That's going to turn some people off. But she understands what she wants to do in her business. She understands how she wants to go to business. And she understands how that business is going to be delivered. And so she shared that with me up front, right? That's part of her brand voice. She wants quality. She wants quality clients. She wants quality clients because quality clients are probably easier to deal with. Next, we have speed of service. That's another one to write down. I talked with many managers. I talked to real property managers, 3 different offices they actually have in the Houston market. And responsiveness wasn't the quickest. Information was kind of muddled and unclear. You know, getting them on the phone and then talking to them and, you know, and then some of the pricing that comes back. But right now we're just talking about speed. And what did Missy do? She delivered speed. Within seconds of getting that inquiry, boom, she was already texting me. She was already following up with me. She was already saying, what's going on? What are you looking for? She already had engaged me. I was already impressed from the first moment just by the speed of connection. And so if you really want to connect with your customer, if you really want the best opportunity to win your customers, it's about that speed, right? Because it says, hey, we're at least on the ball. We're paying attention to our business. We're paying attention to our customers. And that speed is really, really important. So number 3 is price. Now, I probably would have paid more than what she charged to work with her. That's the truth. She charged less than some of the others who didn't seem to be as responsive and didn't seem to care as much about quality. And so she gave me the price, and the price was like right in my ballpark, right? It was right like where I wanted it to be, obviously. And so when those 3 things aligned in her voice, like there's no way I'm going to say no. And then as a customer, what do I do next? Well, now I'm following up. And she's like, hey, this is communication. Do you have any of this? We're going back and forth. We're just talking and stuff. And I've got this delivery coming up because I got to put a washer and dryer and a fridge in a unit. And I ordered this, from the Home Depot, right? Which doesn't have an incredible customer experience most of the time. And so the Home Depot wants to give you a 4 or 5 hour window for delivery. Like they want to jack your entire day up. That's okay. So the first gal that we were going to work with, that was, originally the real estate agent who was going to be the broker. We're like, hey, the Home Depot is set to deliver these products. And she's like, oh my gosh, it's a 45-minute drive to the property from my office. And, they've got to be there for 4 hours. I've got to be there for 4 hours and wait. I just can't do that. Oh my goodness, this is just, I'm not making enough money. It's like, wait a minute, lady, you're making a ton of cash every single month. Once this place is all rented out, and say you just sit there, you're just collecting that residual income, right? And she's making a big deal about letting the washer and dryer in, letting the fridge in. Man, we tell Missy, she's like, yep, no problem, I'll get it taken care of. Hey, would you just send me a friendly reminder the week of, and I'll make sure to be there. And sure enough, hey, reminder, hey, yep, got it on my calendar, no problem, I'm going to be there. The morning of the delivery, she's like, yeah, no problem. I'm going to have it taken care of. Hey, she says, would you mind just reaching out and just, seeing if they can give me a 30-minute heads up, and, that way I can head down there, or, if they can't, it's okay. But she just did that. So we call and we're like, hey, can we get a 30-minute heads up? And the Home Depot is like, yeah, we'll give you a 30-minute heads up, no problem. They call back 5 minutes later and they're like, yeah, the driver's at the front door. Home Depot, right? But, so Missy's like, hey, no problem. Gets on the phone. Hey, here's the lockbox key to the door. You can get started. I'll be there in 15 minutes. I'm on my way. Boom, boom, boom. Everything taken care of. No hassling. No, I'm going to charge you more money. No making me feel bad, right? None of those things that happen are happening, right? Because we're in a good place with a good manager. And so that's kind of like that first test, because like you're saying, okay, in the sales pitch, quality, speed, and price, they came through. But now, once we're hired and the operation is now taking a flight, we're going to see what they're really made of. And that's the test, to see if they live by their brand voice, if they live by what they say they do. And so far, she's performed. So far, she's delivered. So far, she has done what she said she's going to do without any strife or issue. And so that's been really comforting. And so when you're thinking about your brand voice, I want you to think about those experiences, even the experience with the Home Depot. Like, I'm a customer and I've got to wait all that time. I bet if they really got it dialed in, they could get that wait time down to an hour. If I was really important to them as a customer. And my experience with the Home Depot is like, man, I just don't like buying from the Home Depot. It's just not an easy process. But to that effect, I don't like buying from Lowe's either. Because Lowe's is the same, where it's just like you wait in line and you're just a number, and you're not important and you're not taken care of. And whether it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't, right? You're just a cog on their wheel. And so when you're developing your brand voice, like maybe the brand voice at the Home Depot is just to make people cogs on the wheel because they're so big and they have so many stores, and they know that if you're buying hardware products, it's basically the place to go. Like, you don't really have a lot of other options. You can search, but it's difficult, and you gotta, do more searching and call more people. It's just like, hey, it's just easy to go do it at the Home Depot, right? Even though it's kind of hard. It's easy, but it's hard. You know what I mean? It's not this amazing, but maybe they've said, hey, that's our brand voice. Like, we know that customers are going to buy from us, so, it doesn't really matter if they have to wait at home for 4 hours and wait for a washer and dryer. But I think as you're building your brand voice and you're deciding what you want to be, it's really imperative that you look at that and you say who you're supposed to be. Now, I'm sitting at a dinner table with a couple of friends of mine, and they own a big business in the Midwest. I'll say big business, big landscape business in the Midwest. And they do about, $20 million a year in revenue. So, pretty good sized. And we're sitting around the table and they're like, we're talking about our businesses and we're talking about the experience and we're talking about what we're trying to deliver. And they said something to me that kind of really caught my eye, or really, really talked to me about brand voice. And they didn't even know that they were talking about brand voice. They didn't even know they were talking about, any of that. And what they said was, you know what, man? We're not trying to be the company that performs the best service. And I was like, huh? Even Ralph, the guy who's shooting this, just his eyebrows just went down. He just gave me a look like, huh? What are you talking about, dude? And they said, yeah, man, we're not trying to deliver the best service. He's like, not at all. He's like, we're not trying to compete with the companies that say we're going to deliver the most manicured lawns and we're going to show up on time and we're going to give you this incredible experience. He's like, listen, we're about none of that. He's like, we don't want to live up to that standard. We don't want to do that. He said, we are into doing work for municipalities. We are into doing big work at low cost. He's like, all we're doing is looking at getting in at a low cost and providing just the service that's required, nothing above and beyond. And I thought to myself, that's interesting. Would I be happy if that was me? And I thought to myself, how would I build a business that was focused on not doing the best, but just doing the minimum contract requirement? And I thought to myself, well, there's probably a whole lot of clients that actually want that service. I mean, obviously they've been successful. They've been doing it for many, many years, 2 decades, I believe. They're doing $20 million a year in revenue. So obviously they found a spot. The spot is different than mine. The spot speaks different to me. But I kind of think of it like going to Kohl's. There's nothing wrong with going to Kohl's. Kohl's is a good place to shop. They've got some good clothes. But when you buy clothes at Kohl's, they're going to last a few months and you're going to have to replace them, right? Now, I know that if I go to Nordstrom and I buy clothes and I keep my receipt, that they'll replace the clothes if they wear out, right? In fact, I had a pair of dress pants that was like 3 years old that ripped, and I took them back in there and they're like, oh, no problem. Yep, we'll replace these. Now, Kohl's is a giant store that has pretty profitable outlook, and they serve a certain market. They don't serve the same market that Nordstrom services. Nordstrom's is going for that high end. Nordstrom's is going for that top 1%. Nordstrom is going for that high end customer. But Kohl's is going for that middle class customer. And Kohl's is doing a darn good job. These Kohl's buildings seem to pop up all over the place. And so your brand voice should talk to who you are and the level of service that you want to deliver. Delivering world-class, delivering incredible service is really hard. Now, I kind of liken it to a brother-in-law that I have, and this could get me in trouble. But I don't really care. So I have a brother-in-law who's in the construction field, and he does not excellent work, but not middle-of-the-road work either, somewhere in between. And, he has these ideas of, being this great business and building this great construction business. And, he'll give you a bid and then the job will take forever. And then he'll say, oh, I didn't make any money. And I think to myself, well, you said the job was going to take you a week. It took you 4. You show up at 10. You leave at 3. Like, you're literally putting in 4 or 5 hours of work every single day. And you've always got some excuse why you're running late. Like, oh, man, I was loading up materials this morning. Oh, I got to go get materials for tomorrow night. And you're sitting there and you're thinking to yourself, man, okay, oh, I've spent so much in fuel. Well, you think about it. Not being organized, not being on time, giving a bid, and then being upset about the bid that you gave that you agreed to. You agreed to the price. It's your price. You agreed to it. And then you're going to complain about not making money over and over again. Well, why didn't you make any money? And he tells my wife, he says, I want to charge $100 an hour. Okay, cool. What do I pay for with a guy that I pay $100 an hour? Shouldn't I get the best service, the fastest service, the most on time, the most quality? And I said, that individual's not worth $100 an hour. I'll never pay that to that individual because that individual doesn't do that quality of work. And on top of that, the quality of work that they do, it's even about the communication, poor responding. And so as you're looking at that, I said, you know what would be the best for this guy? This guy's best business, because he does above average work, or he's average above, it's above normal, it's okay. It's not incredible, but it's okay. You know, be the best for this guy. Just tell him straight up, I'm going to be a little bit slower. It's going to take me more time to do the job. I'm going to do the job right. I'm going to work hard at it. I may have to learn a few lessons across the road, but I'm just going to charge you $45 an hour. And I may only be here 4 or 5 hours a day, and it's going to take a little bit longer than you expect, but you're going to get a cheaper price. I'm going to charge you an hour of drive time every day. And I'll send you a text with the hours I worked on site. I'm taking the materials and I'm marking up 20%. And if I'm at the Home Depot picking up materials, I'll keep the time that I was at the Home Depot getting the materials. I'm going to bill you for the time. But it's $45 an hour. And you know what? There's an entire client base that would buy from that. And I would even say to myself, hey, you know what? I'm getting a good deal. I'm taking a little bit on the back end because of time, but I'm willing for the project to take more time to get a better price. And so, with that being said, that's understanding your brand voice. That's sharing your brand voice. Listen, you can't be the $100 an hour guy. You can't be the incredible customer service guy if you don't deliver it. So it's got to be a part of your makeup. It's got to be a part of everything you build. It's got to be a part of everything you make. It's got to be a part of every single part of who you are and what you deliver in your DNA. Does it mean you're perfect? No. The best customer service guys are going to mess up, but you know what? It's about how we recover. It's about what we do. And so when you identify your brand voice, look at your website, look at your marketing, look what you're doing, and stop saying that, hey, when I plow snow or when I do concrete, I have the best communication and I have the best customer service and I'm available 24 hours a day and I use the best tools. Talk about the things that you really deliver. Talk about your pillars, the things that you stand on. And for me, one of my pillars, one of the things that I believe in is giving back to community. Right? Giving God the glory. I'm a Christian guy. That's going to come out in everything I do. I'm not going to deny that. Or Lord willing, I won't deny that. And the deal is that I'm going to stand on that pillar of giving back. That's going to be something that I'm going to do. If I can't give back, I'm not going to be in business. And so I'm going to resonate with people who have those same feelings, those same connections. And so that's what I want to share on my website. If you look at my website and you scroll down on every page, it's, hey, look where we gave back. Look at the places we sponsor. Like it's a big part of who we are. Yes, we talk about our services. Yes, we talk about the things that we do. Clients have to know what we offer. But they also have to understand, hey, this is what this company stands for. This is what they're all about. This is our brand voice. So our brand voice is focused on giving back. It's about changing the world. And so look deep at what you're really delivering your customers. Look deep at who you really want to be. I've told you many stories today, talked about many different applications and many different ways to raise your business. And I believe that It doesn't always have to be incredible customer experience. It doesn't always have to be the best. You can be super successful, you can be super rich, you can be super everything you want to be. But you got to know your audience, you got to know your customer, and you got to know what you're delivering. And it's okay if it's not world class. Right? There's Harvard, and then there's the community college. How many go to the community college? How many of those community college people are super successful? So at the end of the day, you just look deep and look at what you want to develop and what you want to build, and you decide what that looks like. And when you decide what that looks like, you put that forward and you go for it. Don't be all things to all people, right? Hey, if you know this customer wants world class, but you don't deliver world class, maybe that's not the right customer because it's just going to get you in trouble, right? You just stick away from that. Or if you deliver world class and you know the customer just wants cheap and bottom line, you know that that's probably not the right customer for you. And so you speak that into your brand voice. You speak that into who you are. If you want to talk about brand voice, if you want to talk about growing your business and growing your brand, hit me up. Follow me on LinkedIn, David Wescott. Follow me on LinkedIn. If you liked this and it was good and you had a good time, share it. Give me a like, give me a comment. It was great to be able to spend some time with you today. Have a blessed day. I'll see you later.